Hi, everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you. But
There you go.
hi, everyone. Welcome back to In the Stacks with Julia and Christina. I'm Julia, and unfortunately, Christina can't join us today, but we're really excited to have a special guest, David Stevens, from the Marjorie Muse Public Library. David works as a library assistant there, and we're really happy to have him on staff because David has, again, a very wide range of reading.
I hope so.
But we consider him one of our graphic novel experts because he's really loves graphic novels. So hopefully he'll bring forward some graphic novels that he really likes. If you haven't visited us before or seen us on YouTube before, in the Stacks we talk about what we're reading, what we're currently rereading, what we might have just read, things we're beginning to read. So this gives you a little insight into what the staff are reading, but also hopefully gives you a little incentive, maybe a book that might tweak your interest and you'll want to check it out from your local library. So, David, do you want to start?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I brought with me today one of my favorite graphic novels, Richard Stark's Parker, as adapted by Darwyn Cooke. So this is kind of cheating a little bit. So I get to bring in one of my favorite novel series as well as my favorite graphic novel series.
Oh, I like that. People like double dipping. That's what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So Richard Stark is actually the pseudonym of an author named Donald Westlake, who wrote, he used to write comedy apparently, but then he took on the pseudonym to write these sort of crime noir, completely tonally different than what he had written before. And it's a series of books that follows a character named Parker, who is a master thief, right?
Okay.
And he gets double-crossed in the first book, and he's out for revenge. And it's, your classic revenge tale.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's very 60s. It was written in 62, right? Really great stuff. And in 2006, around that time, Canadian comics artist, Darwyn Cooke, who lived in Halifax, actually.
Okay.
He actually contacted Richard Stark and said, I really love your stuff. It jives with my aesthetic. It's the kind of stuff I love. I love that 60s swinging era. Can I adapt this? And so Donald Westlake, a.k.a. Richard Stark, said, yeah, your stuff is great. So they collaborated together.
Oh, that must have been such a coup for him. Right?
Oh, absolutely. Like, the two of them remained friends up until Donald Westlake's death in 2008.
Oh, okay.
And they were, it was one of the last things that what Donald Westlake had said, okay, I love this. This is great. And so Darwyn did the adaptation. The words are pretty well Donald Westlake's.
Yes.
And Darwyn took the time to sort of just bring the descriptions to life, right? So
but you can see that like 1960s feel, late 1950s, 1960s feel with the illustrations. Can you hold it up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
So it's very Art Deco in a way, right?
Yes,
like,
exactly. Yeah, they're trying to clean lines, like over exaggerated a little bit.
I brought a bigger version of it.
Ooh, you really do like this book.
I do love this book. I really do love this book.
Holy guacamole!
So you can get an idea of what it looks like.
Yeah.
So it's fantastic, absolutely. Darwyn's known for this sort of heavy lines, clean style. Like
yes, that's
really,
what. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, it really fits really well. And that opening, the first couple pages grabs you because Darwyn, he took the description of Parker, that cold open from Donald Westlake's novel, that really gets you this man walking across the bridge. What's he doing? Why are people in the cars afraid of him? He's down, he's disheveled. He's been through something, but you don't know yet. You haven't gotten into the meat of the plot yet.
Right. But you're automatically hooked right away.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And you become invested.
Yeah, and Darwyn Cooke's illustrations captured it perfectly. I had read the novel before I had read the adaptation, and it was exactly what I had pictured in my mind's eye, and it was perfect.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
So your first recommendation is Parker by
Darwyn Cooke, Richard Stark's Parker.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
So the first book I'm going to bring forward today is The Reading List by Sarah Nisha Adams. I just picked this up the other day. It came in for me on hold. It's about a young teenager working in a local library who discovers a forgotten slip of paper in a book. So you know yourself
Oh,
that
yeah.
we find stuff in books all the time. Some things might be unsavory, but some things are generally mundane, kind of, a receipt to Piper's or, a slip of toilet paper or.
I mean, I'm using a check stub as a bookmark right now, so
Exactly,
I'll try not
exactly.
to return my
Oh, I
check
gotta
stub.
show off my bookmarks. I can't remember. I think Christina might have made this one for me, but it is
Oh, that's
cute. It's got
lovely.
little birds on it. Everybody knows that I like birds.
Aw.
So, yeah, they give me little bookmarks, and it's, yeah, I love bookmarks. A beautiful bookmark. I have to have a bookmark, and sometimes I get so crazy I have to have a bookmark that matches my book. So, yeah, I know.
That's not crazy.
That's
That's coordinating.
That's coordinated. I like being
organized.
coordinated.
Yeah.
I like being coordinated. I like to have my bookmark. So if you'll notice, a lot of the colors in my bookmark match my book. Okay. But
Love it.
anyway, it's about this young teenage girl. She's a volunteer at the library. She finds this slip of paper in the back of To Kill a Mockingbird, and it's a list of novels she's never seen before. So intrigued, she impulsively decides to read every book on the list. So she starts checking out these books from her library, and she starts reading them, and it takes her on a journey. So I like books that Christina and I often talk about when we're chatting about how we like books about books, or books about bookish things, or books about authors, or books about bookshops, or libraries, or whatever. So some of our favorite books that we've ever read, like the library book,
Mhm.
that book is one of my favorite books. And in it, it mentions lots of other books. And it tells like history of libraries and all this kind of thing. And so I was like really geekishly enjoying this book. So this one is, it seems like it's going to be to be one of those that has like all sorts of books that it mentions that is going to tweak your interest and make you want to read those books too. So the Reading List by Sarah Nisha Adams is a brand new book, and if you are interested in books and bookish things, this might be a book that you want to read.
Oh, that sounds. I love that. I love when books have like allusions and
Mhm.
to other books, right? Or things
Yeah.
that you recognize, like, oh, hey, I know that book.
I know
Or-
that one, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm currently reading Umberto Eco's "In the Name of the Rose" for the first time, right?
Oh, okay.
And of course, the huge plot of that revolves around the library and a monastery. This idea of like hidden knowledge that,
Yes.
that the main character William of Baskerville is very keen to see, right? But the church is like, no, you can't look at these books.
Yeah, no, look away.
Yeah, and so they they name drop all these classical authors like Aristotle and Plato and whatnot. And
Oh,
like,
okay.
oh, hey, I know that. That's great.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's familiar,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And two, by doing that, it kind of like, it draws you in a little bit and it gives you a certain level of understanding that you can build the story in your mind better.
Yeah. Well, it lets you in on the universe. You feel like you're immersed a little
Exactly.
more. Like
You're part of the story.
You're part of that club that knows
Yeah.
these things. Like, oh, wow, okay.
I'm
I'm on the same level as the author.
Boy, I feel smart.
Mm.
So what's your next book?
So I decided to go with a nonfiction book. This came out 2 years ago.
It's
just
a
before the
nonfiction
pandemic.
book about
Oh,
graphic
yeah.
novelish things.
So this is by Ken Quattro. It's Invisible Men, the trailblazing black artist of comic books.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I
Oh,
love.
I've seen that one on the shelf. That's excellent.
Yeah, we actually have it on one of the end caps in the nonfiction up in the
Yeah.
reference library on the 3rd floor of the AC Hunter.
Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, this sort of is a nexus point of all of my favorite things of history, comics. It's a wonderful little book. So what it does is it actually profiles some of the lesser known black comic creators, because when we think of comics, we kind of think of like Jack Kirby, he's a white Jewish guy, Stan Lee, white Jewish guy. But
Not that there's anything wrong with white Jewish guys.
no, absolutely not. Like the industry it's only really recently that the industry has sort of been embracing that Jewish identity and exploring what it meant to be a Jewish immigrant in 1940s New York,
Yeah.
right? But aside from that, there's also the black experience in America, and this has been a great sort of eye-opening history of I think there's 8 to 10, maybe 12 creators in here. Who I never knew about at all. I knew one of these people, and I'm pretty immersed in comics. There's one artist in here that I knew, but everyone else, I had no idea
And
whatsoever.
so this has opened up a whole bunch of material and artists and things for you
Oh,
that
absolutely.
you may have never come
Yeah.
across before.
Well, a lot of and a lot of it delves into sort of the racial divide. A lot of these black artists didn't work directly with editors or publishers.
Right.
They worked through what were considered like I think they were called the comic shops, right? So Will Eisner operated a comic shop. He had a stable of artists working in a studio, but he signed the page at the end of the day, right? So it's kind of
okay.
that
Kind of
anonymity, that's sort
kind
of
of like ghostwriting.
yeah, very much so. It's like ghost artists, right?
Yeah, ghost artists.
And so that anonymity allowed
that's so
black
sad,
comic
though.
creators. Yeah, it is. Some of
Because
them.
I mean, they put all the effort and work into that, but they get none of the
Yeah. Now some of them managed to get their names out there. One in particular became a really big star, and he's sort of the creator. He was known for drawing voluptuous women, which you'll see very much on the cover here. Yeah. He went on. He's probably the most famous one. He's the one that I heard of. But other creators in here, like Elmer C. Stoner, they went on to be commercial artists.
Right.
Right. So they would have, when comics sort of died in the 50s, superhero comics sort of died post-war. Some artists like Matt Baker, the guy who could draw women very well, he went on to draw romance comics.
Okay.
Yeah, and then but other black artists, there wasn't room for them anymore. They sort of went on. They became commercial artists. A lot of them were tied up in the Harlem Renaissance.
Okay.
Right, so they end up in New York doing fine art and investing in the black community, things like that.
Perfect. Yeah.
It's really a huge interconnected world that I had no idea, and I love discovering sort of these hidden histories.
Yes,
right?
I do too. Yeah. So, in terms of history, my next book is one that I found on the e-library, and it's called The Kitchen Front. This book is set in World War II, so if anybody knows me, that's kind of my jam. That's what I love. I love British World War II books. It's set in Great Britain in World War II, and the mother is a widow woman, and she has a couple kids, and they're they're struggling to make ends meet. So this book is primarily about the dynamic and the relationship between her and her sister, who they've had a contentious kind of relationship all her life. Her sister has always been jealous of her, and now her sister is wealthy, and her husband managed to make money during the war because of his business dealings, and so as a result, she's really rich. Her sister's really poor. She's making, trying to make ends meet. So it wraps itself around the rationing system and recipes. Cool. So things that women did during World War II, trying to make those rations edible and appealing to their families, and so Great Britain did a huge thing, and I'm sure the United States did too, about pamphlets and trying to educate people and trying to keep them informed. And they also had a radio show about, I believe it was called The Kitchen Front.
Ooh.
And in this radio show, a man would be on there, and he would be telling women what they needed to do to cook better. Mm-hmm. And so this woman was a really good cook, and she was very innovative, and she had a lot of ideas on how to use things in different ways. And so she came up with recipes, and they were on this radio show. So my favorite part of this book is that every chapter ends off or begins with a recipe that was made from rationed stuff. And there's one called hominy pie. Huh. And it's, taking a pie crust, and at the time you weren't allowed to use a lot of fat or anything like that. And like ideas on how to make the pie crust edible and still look decent. Like she uses a lot of like mashed potatoes and stuff to like fill it out.
Okay.
But she also says that if you leave it too long, it's going to turn gray, so you need to eat it right away.
Oh.
And I'm like, this sounds terrible. But like one of them, the hominy pie one, it actually sounds really good. So it's like a pie crust, and it has a lot of leftovers in it. So it's like almost like a steak and kidney pie without the steak or the kidney. And so like with vegetables and whatever little bits of meat and stuff that you had left over, if you had any leftovers. But it's really it's well written. It's got a lot of good description in it. I like that because it kind of like evokes that kind of era, like talks about, you know, the clothes and the scenery and that kind of thing. That's stuff that I really, really love. So
Very immersive, is it?
yeah,
You know,
it is very, very, and I really loved it. It was great.
Yeah.
So the kitchen front is on our e-library, and you can check it out with your library card. So that is it for us today, and we wanted to thank you for joining us again, and check out all the great content on our YouTube channel, and make sure that you subscribe. And have a great day, and happy reading.
Happy reading.
Happy reading.